Okay, in the last video we went over how to use the Nitrolite example to make a tip on a website using the yellow network. Now we're going to dive into how to build each of these components in a simple way, no user interface, right from Node.js. Okay, so we're going to have you connect your wallet, then generate a session key. That session key will be used to authenticate your wallet with the Nitrolite, with the yellow server. And once you have a session key, you will be able to transact and interact rapidly without having to prompt again and without having to pay for on-chain fees. Okay, so we're going to start by creating a new file, and we'll call this connect wallet and tip. Okay, now within this we have a few. First, we're going to connect the wallet. So in here we will pull the wallet from an environment variable. So we can load our environment variables using this, and then let's make a main function. Okay, and then okay, so here's a basic program, and let's load the wallet from the environment variable. So we have this mnemonic to account from VM. So VM is our modern Ethereum node module for interacting with Ethereum. Okay, so here we're going to load that the seed phrase environment variable. Your MetaMask wallet has a seed phrase, and in this case we're replicating it, but in a very simple way, no UI. So here we have our wallet, and then what we want to do is create a wallet client. And a wallet client is we're going to use the base chain. Okay, so we can import base from VM chains. Okay, we have our base chain, and then we want to import the HTTP transport. So now we have a wallet client that's going to be able to interact and sign messages from our wallet, just like MetaMask would sign. And ultimately, we want to create a session key. Okay, and we've defined a utility here to create a session key, but a session key is just a random, or is just a temporary, disposable Ethereum private key, public key. And that session key will be authenticated and allow you, the user, to interact with the yellow network without having to sign with your main wallet every time. You just delegate access to the session key. Okay, so we'll call generate session key, and we've defined this in our utils here. And create wallet client, that's going to come from VM as well. So great, now that we have the session key, the authentication with the yellow server is an asynchronous WebSocket RPC. So it's not like a request reply RPC where you make a request and then it sends back the reply to you. It's more like a persistent connection where you connect to WebSocket and you send RPC messages to the server, and when it's ready, it sends RPC messages back, more like in a stream. So what we usually do is connect to WebSocket and then listen for all messages that are coming from the server, parse those messages to find the correct yellow protocol message we're looking for, and then respond accordingly and react accordingly. So I've made a helper library for the yellow network that abstracts away the WebSocket connection. and that's called yellow-ts, but you can manage the WebSocket connection yourself. This uses an underlying WebSocket library that's very popular. So here we can create our new yellow client and then connect the yellow client. So far, let's go to our terminal just for full viewing, and we call this connect scripts, connect wallet, and tip. Okay, so what that first does, it connects to the yellow network. So that's a lot like here when we load up the app, and then here we go, it connects. And there's this connect wallet function also, which you can do in the browser, and that's the next step we're going to do. Here, that's where we have our wallet client. And first, we will create an auth challenge message, an auth message. And so this yellow SDK, the Nitrolite, gives us this create auth request message function, which we can import from Nitrolite. And that will build up the correct auth request message. Now it comes with some required parameters, and let's take a look at those. The address is going to be your wallet address, and the session key is going to be that session key address we just created here. So basically this is authorizing that the session key can interact on behalf of your wallet address. Okay, and we need a timestamp. This is important. So the session will expire here in 1 hour. That's 3600. And so we have a session key. The app name will go with test app scope. This scope could be the domain if you're using it in the browser, but here we're just going with test.app. Okay, so once we have the auth message, we can log that auth message just to take a look at what it looks like. And we'll run that program again, and here we go. Here we have that auth message. We're about to send that auth message to the server. So since we have our yellow client connected, there's this nice helper function, send message, which just sends a JSON message to the WebSocket server. Okay, so that's not going to change anything. We've sent our auth message. Now that we've sent the auth message, we want to listen for responses from the server and handle the auth request RPC command from the server. So RPC is going both ways here. So in order to do that with the yellow SDK or the yellow TS helper module here, you call yellow.listen or client.listen, and then that will give you a message, which is going to be an RPC response message. Okay, so sorry, here you go. Okay, now RPC response, we're going to import that from Nitrolite. Okay, so every message you receive from the yellow server is going to be an RPC response type. Okay, and the authentication has really two steps. The first step is the auth challenge. So once we send the auth message here, line 48, then the server will respond with an auth challenge message. Once we receive that auth challenge message, we can sign the challenge and return the challenge to the server, and that will respond with the auth verify message, which means that we have successfully authenticated with the yellow server and can proceed, and that will give us our JWT token. Okay, so when we run that program again, we can see that it's going to this time respond with our auth challenge. So the server has responded with our auth challenge message, and now in here we need to authenticate. So we're going to import this create EIP 712 auth message signer function from Nitrolite SDK. Okay, so go up here and we should be able to import that. Okay, now what that does is it uses our wallet and the same auth params as we used in our create auth message request. Okay, using the session key as the participant. So now the session key can sign on behalf of our wallet address. And we'll use the same app name. So that gives us a signer, and then we want to create a auth verify request message. So here's our auth verify message, and we can import create auth verify from Nitrolite. Then we have our signer, and that message is going to be the message we just received is an auth challenge response, and we can get that also from Nitrolite. So here's that type is coming from the Nitrolite SDK, and we can log that. And then once we build that auth verify message, we want to send it back to the server. Okay, so we send that message back to the server, and the server will verify our signature, and ideally it will respond with one of these auth verify messages. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what that does. Excellent. So we've created our auth verify message from our challenge, sent it back to the server, and it has replied with an auth verify message. That's awesome. Okay, so that's exactly the same as what happens when we click connect wallet and sign that message, and then it gives an auth verify message back. And now it shows us 87 cents USDC. So once we're authenticated with the server, we can then, it will start sending us the balances of our authenticated account. So we can, that's going to be a balance update message. Okay. And in case there's an error, we can log the error messages too. So we have this balance update message. And now when we authenticate our session, it should show us the balance update message. Here we go. So great, balance update, 87 cents, excellent. Now we can see that's the same here. So we're getting pretty far. Now in the user interface, when you click to support an article, it sends 1 cent, and then you can look here, the server actually sends a balance update message again, showing 86 cents. So it instantly updates the balance over the WebSocket to this application, even when a different client has made the transaction. So that's pretty cool. Now that we are authenticated, we can also do a few things. Like once you're authenticated, you can ask for, the server will start sending you the list of supported assets that the server supports. So you might see that message come along. Here's that assets message. So once you've connected, here's the assets. Very good. And now if we want to send a payment as a tip, the last thing we need to do is to create and sign a message for a transfer. So once we've achieved our auth verify, we can use this create ECDSA message signer from Nitrolite SDK to create a signer using our session private key, and then you create a signed message with this create transfer message function. Okay, that's going to create a transfer message, and we're going to transfer this to a friend of mine, 1 USDC. Okay, and before we send that transfer message, let's just log the transfer payload so you can see what it looks like. All right, here's our transfer payload, and we are about to send that to the server. Once we send that to the server, we should see our balance update to 86 cents, or 85 cents rather. Let's connect over here so we can see that happen in real time, hopefully. So here we go. We have our app and we have our program. And the final thing we want to do is send that transfer message. Okay. So when we send the transfer message, it should update our balance. Okay. Let's go ahead and run the program, and it should update the balance over here to 85 cents and show that in our console as well. There you go. You can see it updated to 85 cents over here. The balance update 85 cents. So we have successfully connected our wallet, created a session, authenticated our session key, which is very important. Then we received our balances in real-time updates, and we sent 1 cent as a tip to the app. So that is the basic way of building an app using the Yellow SDK in the most simple way. In future videos, we will go more complex into app sessions and more complex interactions.